Hi everyone, this is Caroline, and I was having a conversation with the angels earlier, and they said I needed to get my message out there a little bit more. So I am doing something which I really don't like doing, but anyway, never mind. It's not about me, but I'm going to do a 3 month, I think, reading for this wonderful brand new year that we have. And I always find when I get into service, it helps me to get over any fear that I have. So I'm going to pull 3 cards. So today, like I said, is the 4th of January. And I know that last year, towards the end of the last year, it was a bit gruesome for some people. And, many of my clients are telling me that it's been worse than it's ever been before, or, they've lost a lot of people in their family, or it's just been a really difficult year, but it has been an ending. And it was a 9 year, which is all about endings, and this is a 1 year, so this is about new beginnings. So I'm very excited coming into this new year, and I really think that it feels like there's lots of opportunity in the air for me. Now, your situation may not be the same as mine, but I do need to say that whatever work you've done on yourself will be rewarded for this year. It feels like it's really going to come home to roost for those of us that have been working quite hard on our personal issues. Okay, so I pulled a card for January and it was very interesting. So it's Zana. You are protected from all types of harm. The worst is now behind you. I ask you to relax and feel safe. And what I'm feeling from the angels is very much that it is time for us to really let go. And I mean really, truly let go of those horrendous belief systems that we've had with us through our childhood and through our young adulthood, and in my case, into my 50s. And we've lived by them because that's what we thought was true. And actually what the angels are saying is, very often, for example, if you take the belief system, I am not safe, that can very often have been formulated in childhood when, I don't know, you had brothers that bullied you, or mum and dad were always arguing, or there were bullets flying around, and it just, to every child, a different situation will feel unsafe. So what they're asking me to say is that truly start to evaluate coming into this new year what you want to, how you want to live your life. If it's still the same as last year with the I'm not good enough, I don't feel worthy, I can't get out of this hole of poverty or illness or mental health or whatever it is that's your journey this lifetime, and your lessons, then really start to evaluate your belief systems. Because I think with belief systems, very often we find that actually all we've done is swallowed hook, line and sinker what mum and dad believed, because of course they were our parents, and that's all you know as a young child. And very often they may not suit your personality or your life purpose or the way that you want to live your life, because you are not your parents. So excuse me, the message for January is feel safe, relax, really, really clean out those closets. It's a great time for decluttering, especially, clothes, give them to charity shops or whatever, photos that you don't need anymore, anything that, really is not making your living space lovely and comfortable and what you want. Especially that wonderful, I'm hearing, this is really interesting, I'm hearing especially that those things that you shake, snow globe that Auntie June gave you when you were 4, and you keep it because it's sentimental, but really it doesn't go with the person that you are now. What I'm saying is make sure that you absolutely love everything that you keep, because going into a new year, it's great if you can let go of what you don't need, but if you bring it in with you, this year is going to be a pretty much not a repetition of last year, but it has ongoing things. The more you can let go of, the easier you will fly this year. Okay, so then February, Akasha, you are a spiritual teacher. You have the ability to counsel others and to help them awaken their spiritual gifts and divine life mission. And actually, that goes very well after the card of January. So, January's message is relax and stay calm, and February's message is stand up and be who you said you would be. And I'm really feeling here, just before I came on to do this, I was reading through an article, I think it was in The Guardian, I can't remember, it was on Facebook, and it was about the really amazing things that have been done around the globe for the environment this last year, where everybody's been concentrating on how appalling it is, but actually this has happened and this has happened and that was amazing and this is really good. And it was really celebrating some of the massive strides that we've taken towards helping the planet. I know it's a nightmare, and I'm watching Years of Living Dangerously, and I wish I wasn't, because it's just showing how appalling it is out there. But I'm really clinging on to the good things that are happening, because that shows that other people, as well as me, are really wanting to make a difference on the planet. That was a little bit of a sidestep there, but what it was trying to say was we are all being asked to be what we said we would come and be. And I'm getting, for a lot of us, spiritual teacher might just be a really good person, someone who just walks their walk and talks their talk, who is living in integrity and with honesty. And I'm actually noticing a lot of difference between those. Now, it just feels like there's a big gap growing between those people that really do live in integrity and speak their truth and are kind and compassionate, and those that really are still in the very dark energy of violent films and reading the news and things like that. So it feels like there's a big movement towards, in my circle of friends anyway, definitely towards integrity and honesty. And I feel that in itself is spiritual teaching. Clearly all of us aren't supposed to be teachers, but it's really interesting. What they're showing me is somebody putting, I'm not sure who the person is, but putting their hand just on someone who's a little bit lonely, or being kind to someone who's struggling to carry their shopping bags. It really is, okay, so they're pointing out, it really is the tiny, well, they're tiny to you and me who can walk and talk, but to someone who's really struggling, you don't know how much difference you can make. And that just really reminds me of a book that Caroline Nettle wrote, which was called Invisible Acts of Power, I think it was called. But it was basically, she just asked people to write in and tell stories about how somebody else had made a massive difference in their life. And one of the stories that really got me in the heart was this guy was driving home and he was thinking to himself, how am I going to kill myself? Shall I use whiskey and tablets, or shall I just slit my throat? What shall I do? And he stopped at a traffic lights, and he said this woman in a car that he'd never seen before, didn't know who she was, just smiled at him. And in that moment he knew that what he was thinking of doing was not the right thing. And I've always tried to give a smile here, say a nice word, help someone if I can, because you never know what other people are going through when you're interacting with them. You never have any clue of how desperate they've got or how extremely happy they are. So spiritual teacher is very much, it's a way of saying, I think, just be the best version of you. And by being the best version of you, you're really giving everybody else permission to grow and experience life in a much kinder universe than we are currently living. So relax, you are safe, the worst is behind you. Chuck out everything that no longer serves you. Really try to come into this year baggage free, should we call it that? If that means going to a psychotherapist, or just chatting to a good friend, or whatever you need to do to really close the door to the past. February is, you are a spiritual teacher. Be the best you that you can be, and then you will automatically encourage people to be the best them that they can be. And if that's occurring, the world is a much better place. And then this is one of my favourite cards, actually. So this is for March. So relax and feel safe, get rid, become the best person you can, and then keep charging ahead and don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to appear. That's an exciting card to get, because for me that means, because it's a black horse and it's a really powerful horse, and it feels like there'll be inspiration coming into you as you get rid of the past, you step into yourself, then you will get inspiration from above or wherever it is you get your inspiration from, to really do whatever it is you agreed to do. I believe that we all came here saying, I'm going to learn anger management, or I'm going to learn to be faithful, or I'm going to learn how to not be crabby, or I'm going to learn to be a good wife, or I'm going to learn to be a great parent. You know, all these different things that we've agreed to do. And for some of us, I'm going to be an astronaut, I'm going to change the world, and for others it's much more low key. But whatever it is that you agreed to do, and I think all of us have this sense in our, you know, in the heart of us, that is, I've got something I need to be doing. You know, for example, one of the biggest ways I know that I have still something to do is I'm 50 this year, 10 years sober, hurrah. And in March, that is, not yet. Like, I'm watching all these people who are much younger than me, you know, passing away. I'm watching people who are slightly older than me who really feel like they had some things left to do. And, you know, for example, George Michael just passed away. Lots of us were very sad about that. That was really a part of my childhood, I suppose. Not my childhood, but my teenage years were about coming out and being who you are, which was a really big thing for me. And I just feel like with him, somehow I just got a real sense that, yeah, it was time for him to go. He'd had enough. He really had enough. He gave so much pleasure to so many people, and I almost felt relieved for him. There's lots of rumours going around, of course, that he was murdered and blah blah blah, but my sense is that his soul was ready to go home. So I know that because I haven't gone home yet, there must be something for me to do. So that's the tree planting. I'm being told to do another 3 months. Gosh, this is going to be a very long video. Sorry. So we went January, feel safe, get rid. February, be who you are, become who you are. And March, look out for inspiration and do not take no for an answer. So I'm not going to look, and I'm going to pick March, April. Okay. May. And June. Alright. Good cards, good cards. Alright, so for April I got, I bring you a message from a deceased loved one. I am happy, at peace, and I love you very much. Please don't worry about me. So that's the wonderful angel Sonia. So she's coming in, and how she's putting it for me is, we don't know how much love and support we have from the other side. We even if we think we do, we've got no comprehension whatsoever that, you know, heaven or whatever you call it is just looking out for us so much. And clearly we have loved ones that have passed over that we'd like to talk to, but behind those people is all of our ancestors. Then we've got angels, then we've got, you know, wise ones and spirit guides, and, you know, there's just such a vast array of spirits and you know, angels and so on and so forth that are helping us whilst we're here on earth. Now, you know, they're asking me to say this is one of the hardest places to come. There's other lifetimes that we have on other planets that are a lot less challenging than Earth. Earth is Earth School, as they call it, which I like, is it really brings out a lot of the things that we need to work through, but maybe we wouldn't choose to. If we could find a get out of jail free card, I'm sure we would. But so the message for April is, just know, okay, so it's interesting after the inspiration and just keep going for it, is to know that we are supported completely by a massive array of beings who want us to do whatever it is, or to help us with whatever it is we said to come. So Sonia is just coming into this reading now to say, I want you to not worry and not grieve too much over the people that have passed that you loved. Of course, grief is a really important part of human emotions, and I really feel a sense with Sonia that she's saying, I'm not asking you not to grieve, but sometimes human beings can grieve for a lifetime, and the soul that's passed over is like would be much happier if we got on with our lives and found joy and loved again and did all those things. It's really hard when we lose a child, or one of our friends dies young, or somebody takes their own life. There's all these human emotions that come up, and it is really challenging. However, when you find out that this is just another life in a series of other lives, and I'm not asking you to believe what I believe. This is just my opinion. Then death doesn't hold the same fear that it did before. I know from my own experience, when I was younger, I just believed this was it, and there was a few times that I nearly lost my life through illness, through whatever, and I remember looking forward to it. I remember thinking, well, this is so awful that I don't want to be here anymore. Probably around about the age of 6 or 7, I think. And as I grew into my teens and my 20s and 30s, well, maybe early 30s is when I started remembering who I was, because I think for me, a lot of what I'd forgotten was that I was really loved by the angels, and that I have had and still do have immense support from the angels and spirit guides. And it's just incredible how little I was in touch with them and how much now I appreciate them. So it's changed my life completely. But what I'm saying is, one of the first things that they had a very long conversation with me about was death. And I have lost, in my time, some people who were really close to me, and it really hurt. And what they said to me was, this is your grief. This isn't about the person. You might miss them, but this is grief for yourself. And I was very angry about that in the beginning, but now I think it's true. And death doesn't hold power over me anymore. When it's my time to go, and clearly that's not today because I'm sitting here in front of you, but when it's my time to go, then I'll be happy to go to the next place and learn the next lesson. But for now, I'm here, and I feel like I've just gone on a massive ramble, but that was all being given to me to say, so I've said it. And I hope that's relevant to you and helpful. So Sonia is saying, please don't worry about your loved ones. Please know that as soon as we leave our earthly bodies, especially when there's been immense pain or chronic pain, or a prolonged illness or anything like that, it's a massive relief, and it's a lot happier where we go for everyone. I really believe that. Okay, so that is January, leave it behind, feel safe. February, stand up and feel and be who you are. March, listen out for your intuition, because I really think some big stuff is coming. Do not take no, expect miracles. April is all about understanding that you are being helped by a massive array of people. More than happy to do a personal reading for you if that is something that you are really struggling with. That could be something we could work out who is working with you the most. That would be probably helpful. So April, and then May, You are flying high right now, which may threaten others, but don't descend because others will soon become inspired by your example. So that's Aurora. That's a horrible word for me as a dyslexic, but that's Aurora. And that actually feels really, it just feels like it's all leading from one to the other. If you can let go and then stand up and then just walk forward, you will be flying high. And a lot of people, I've really noticed this, a lot of people who are light workers are very much frightened of putting their head above the parapet because of past lives when they've been killed or maimed or hung, drawn and quartered or whatever it is, which I'm assuming would kill you, for being a healer or a light worker. And so I think a lot of us are having to learn to stand up despite that fear. So this is me showing that it's possible, and even if I make an absolute fool of myself, I can do it. It's something that I really don't enjoy very much, but it's something that I need to improve on. So if I can do it, you can do it too. That's what I would say. So yeah, so January, February, March, April, May is all about consolidating what you've done in the few months before, but really working on it and really being okay with stepping into the limelight a little bit and not worrying about what other people say about you. What other people think of me is none of my business. So just really keeping focused on your mission. And the thing is, once you know the direction you're heading in, then it's very easy to just keep going, regardless of, relatives who say you can't do it, or you're not clever enough, or, people who say you'll never raise the money, or whatever it is, because there will always be naysayers. You need to really just step forward in a way that eventually, as you're stepping on your path, people will be like, oh, look at that woman or man. They're really in integrity. They're really in line with who they are, and they're doing it. I want to follow that. So that's what that card means. Fantastic. And then June, yes. Time out. You've been so busy taking care of everyone else's needs, but now is a time to stop and take care of yourself. And what's coming to my mind here is mums. Sometimes the school holidays can be really, really challenging. But it's interesting that this is coming like you really are, going forward and you're on your mission. And then this comes as and you need to look after yourself, because quite often we can get really wound up in everything, that we need to do and juggling those balls, and life is just busy, busy, busy. And a lot of my clients come in when they've been juggling the balls for too long and they've never once taken their foot off the gas, and they are exhausted and their body is exhausted. And then what happens is we get symptoms and we get illnesses because the body just cannot cope. And we're not designed to do that. We're designed to run a long way after a piece of meat, whatever. And then once we've got it, we rest. But unfortunately, today's society does not allow for that. So I'm getting a very strong message that even though you've become an astronaut and you're off to the moon and everything's amazing, clearly not everyone's going to be an astronaut, you also need to take care of yourself. So good rest, good diet, good exercise, great thinking, like real clear thought patterns. Because if I am continually thinking, I'm so ill, I'm so tired, I can't do it, whatever it is that your inner voice tells you, that can be really detrimental to your health. So I'm feeling that there's a really strong emphasis here on clearing out all of that muck at the beginning of the year, like really thinking better. There's many, many personal development books. There's many, many different things that you can read about how to change your thoughts, how to be more positive, and I'll just say this. I have people in my life who I'm trying desperately hard not to have in my life, who, when they talk to you and you just feel really like, oh. And I have other people in my life that as I'm leaving them, I just feel amazing. They've really made me feel, good about myself because they feel good about themselves. So really choose wisely who you take with you on this journey for the next 6 months. But Put yourself as the priority, I'm hearing. Put yourself and your needs above everybody else's. And one of the things we humans, especially women, we're not very good at saying no. So, Mum, can you just... No, I'm tired. Like literally, Mum, can you just, or if you don't mind just giving me a lift, or it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I need it, get a taxi. You know, we really have to start putting ourselves first, because it's really important, especially as a mother. I'm not a mother, but especially as a mother figure, and I feel like this card is talking to mothers, especially as a mother, to give, and then go, oh, I've got nothing left for me and what I need to do. And I think the angels are saying here is, yes, being a mother is a phenomenally important job, much more important than you are given credit for in our society today. But there's also personal development and being who you came to be. It's not like I'm a mother, therefore my life stops. So we're really encouraging mothers, especially, to take time out for themselves and make sure that mothers and individuals, I mean, this isn't just about mothers, but it really struck me as being for mothers, especially around June time, because I think that's quite a hard time for mothers, because there's so much activities and school stuff and da da da. Okay, so do I want to carry on? No, we want to stop at 6 months. Okay, well, listen, I hope that's helpful. It's very interesting to me what's going on in America right now. We have a countdown to Donald Trump. My first instinct when I heard that he had won the nomination was he wasn't going to make it to presidency. So let's see, we've got another 13 days or something like that. I may not be right. I'm not always right, but that was my gut instinct. And the thing is, whatever's happening with Donald Trump, or the war, or the refugees, or the burning of the forest, or the people being murdered in your back garden, I don't mean that, in your area, none of that really is anything that you need to worry about. What your job right now is to worry about is having whatever it is you agreed to come and do. I feel like I'm saying to the whole universe, this is the time to do it. It feels like it's a really, really significant time. And somebody posted on Facebook that on the 7th of January, so it's 3 days from here, many, many, many of the planets are all going to be in alignment. And that's a massive, significant energy. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what it's going to mean. Maybe we'll have floods. I really don't know, but it's definitely worth understanding that there are huge planetary alignments going on. There's many, many waves of energy coming to this planet from other planets, which are just here to help us. There's children being born that are the next generation that I think are just going to be absolutely outstandingly amazing children who don't need to speak, or, who just bring love to the planet. I think, it's clear to me. I read Diana Cooper's book about, can't remember the title, but it was basically saying 2012 to 2032 is the year that the earth is shaking up, and it just feels like we're right in the epicenter of that now. So the angels want you to know, I think what they're saying to me to finish this with is that you have so much support from heaven, whatever you want to call that, and whatever it is you said you would come and do, it's time to stand up and do it. And I think so many people say to me, I'm really lost at the moment. It really doesn't feel like I've done the right thing so far, and it doesn't matter how far, shall we say, down the wrong path. I don't mean the wrong path, because nothing is right or wrong, it's just the perception. But so they feel like they've been going down the wrong path for so long, and it's just like, okay, so what do you want to do? And how do you get there from where you are now? Now, like I said before, I'm happy to offer you an angel reading. If you think you could do with some guidance from the angels, now would be a really good time to have a reading, I think, just because we're right at the beginning of a 1 year, and there's a lot of people asking me questions like, what should I do? And, what's coming up and so on and so forth. So if you would like to take me up on that, then go to spiritualgrowthtools.co.uk and look for angel readings. So that's spiritualgrowthtools.co.uk. I'm happy to do a reading for you. And I'm going to post this in a few groups, so I just hope that it's really helpful to some people who may be feeling a bit lost at the moment. And thank you for allowing me to be of service. Okay, I send this with lots of love. Bye-bye.